There's just so many. Welcome, everybody, to Absolutely Criminal. My name is Andrew Martin, and right beside me, as always, is Tiffie Lou.
Hi.
You excited today, Tiffie Lou?
I am. It's been a very interesting couple of days. I'm so excited about today.
Well, thank you for you just come over from your trailer 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, welcome, everybody. Sparkles is here, and Renee. Those are our two moderators. They're going to keep all the crowd in line today.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy Jones, Joe Bailey is here, and forgive me if I missed anybody, but we got a great show for you today. First, we're going to talk about a cold murder in Fargo, don't you know?
Oh, you were born in Fargo.
I was born in Fargo, and I have very sort of distant ties to this. Not to the murder, but to one of the relatives.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I got a little story. But then we're going to talk about Georgia versus Dr. Chuck.
Yeah, that's why everybody's here, really. Yeah.
Just like with the Georgia Cappleman and Wendy, we've picked the best moments of Georgia Cappleman, giving it to Dr. Chuck. And then we'll talk some Tiffy time and wrap up. And yeah.
What is Tiffy time again?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, it would be great since my name is in it.
All right. Well, there was a murder in Fargo. And when I was a kid, I was born in Fargo, and I lived there until I was about 5 years old. And I've always been a huge nerd, and I've always loved television and broadcasting.
Really? A nerd?
Yeah, exactly. Shocking.
Uh-huh.
But when I was about 3 years old, 3 or 4, and this is one of my earliest memories, I was, my parents always watched the evening news at 10 o'clock or 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I was enamored with the weatherman, Dewey Berquist.
Oh, you had the hots for him?
Well, as much as a 3-year-old can, I suppose. But no, I looked up to him. And one day I wrote a letter to Dewey Berquist. And
Drewy wrote a letter to Dewey.
And all it said was, "I love you, Dewey." And my parents sent it off to the studio. And I remember this to this day. I remember it clearly. Watching the news the next week. And he opened the letter and he read it online on the air and said, "Well, I love you too, Andrew."
Oh,
yeah.
Look at
so
you.
It still
Does
gives
he
me
remember?
goosebumps. Yeah.
He's probably dead, right?
He's dead. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for crapping on that.
Sorry.
But so my mom and I were talking about that the other day, and I looked up some things, and it turns out, and I knew this about a year ago or so, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. His grandson, named after him, named Philip Dewey Berquist, was murdered.
Oh.
In Fargo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there is a connection with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's, a sentimental kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he was named after his grandfather. He was a big figure up there in North Dakota back when the country only had 3 networks. There he is. Yeah. So, and with his news colleagues. So we're going to play a news clip, and then we'll be right back.
He has the same eyebrows as your dad.
Oh, kind of. Maybe that's why I liked him.
Maybe.
All right, here we go.
Good evening, everyone. A Fargo man will virtually spend the rest of his life in prison after pleading guilty to killing a man near the Red River last October. 39-year-old George Ortiz is being sentenced to 55 years in prison for killing 32-year-old Philip Berquist. WDAY News reporter Sam Getzinger joins us live. He was at today's change of plea hearing and sentencing. Sam.
Yeah, Dana, it was a much calmer hearing for Ortiz compared to the last time he was in court when he had an aggressive verbal exchange with the judge. Now, today, Ortiz's attorney said he wanted to change his plea to the 1 count of murder, which is a Class AA felony, to try to give some closure to everyone who was involved. Ortiz said he stabbed Berquist 3 to 5 times and cut his throat last October after something upset him. Prosecutors say Berquist was stabbed at least 20 times and nearly decapitated before being rolled into the river. Now, the father of Philip Berquist also spoke at the hearing today. He says his son's death has taken a serious toll on his family. He said Philip's brother has not been able to work since the murder and has been at a treatment program for depression. Ortiz says he killed Berquist to protect his family because he says Berquist was sent by other people to try to drive Ortiz out of town.
I gotta live with that, Like I said, we can't change the past, but I know, like I said, I protected my family, That's, to me, that counts, and I can live with that, knowing that my family's safe.
Now, Ortiz does have the chance for parole after about 46 years, which would have been the life expectancy of Berquist. And there are 2 others involved in this case. Joseph Poitra is accused of being an accomplice to the murder, and David Reneros is accused of tampering with evidence. Both of their cases are still pending. Reporting live, Sam Getzinger, WDAY News.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
well, at least he can live with himself. That's nice to know.
Right. He was protecting his family.
Okay, but not really. He hunted him down and decapitated the guy. So
yeah, in doing a little research about this last year, I found that Philip Dewey Berquist had moved to Fargo to really kind of get his life in order. He had some drug problems in the past, but he had moved to Fargo to sort of have a new beginning. And unfortunately, it just was his end. So The suspects, and you saw that George Ortiz there, he was charged with intentional murder, pleaded guilty, and was sentenced to 55 years. And as they said, he stabbed him multiple times and slit his throat.
Yeah.
And then they talked about Joseph Poitra. George Ortiz is 39. Joseph Poitra is 29 years old. He was charged with being an accomplice to murder. He reportedly held Bergquist down during the attack. And his sentencing is pending at the time of this episode. Also, David Reineros Jr., a 24-year-old, was charged with tampering with evidence. He pleaded guilty and received 18 months of supervised probation. And Reineros disposed of Ortiz's bloody clothing after the attack.
Right.
Yeah. So the Fargo Police Department conducted a thorough investigation that led to the arrest of the suspect. And George Ortiz was the first one to be arrested. He was arrested back on November 1st, 2022. So we wish the Bergquist family some peace and closure with this. And I'd like to dig deeper into it, I think, and do a full report on it someday.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the family, I
Yeah.
mean, his brother and everything.
Right. Yeah,
That's horrifying.
They were devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, moving on to a certified train wreck.
Let's look at our Georgia.
Yeah, we've kind of become enamored with Georgia Cappleman, the prosecutor.
She's like my girl.
Yeah, you have kind of a girl crush on her.
I kind of do. I was just telling Andrew, I'm like, I could take her to lunch. I could.
She seems like somebody
want to kick it with her.
She seems like she has your kind of sarcasm as well. So
I'm not sarcastic.
No, not at all. All right, so we'll play the best of Georgia versus Dr. Chuck, and here we go.
I'm talking about the first layer of the extortion. Did you have any contact with the thugs that were getting your money for 2 years?
No.
Did anybody put a gun to your head?
I was told that I would be killed in 48 hours if I didn't pay up.
I heard you say that, but my question is, did anyone put a gun to your head?
You asked me, did anyone pull a gun on me?
That's what
Is
I
that
asked
your question?
No.
No, nobody pulled a firearm on me.
All right, so when Catherine Madbanwa came to you on July 18th and said, open the safe and give me all your money, she was not armed.
She was not carrying a gun that day, no.
Were you armed at that time? Did you have a weapon in your home?
I had weapons in my safe, yes.
Were you led to believe or told that the bad guys are outside, right outside your apartment or your residence?
No, but I was led to believe what they did to Dan, they were going to do to me.
So for some reason, K-Mags wanted all the money from his safe. She was not armed. He had access to a firearm. And so he cleaned out his safe. It was about $138,000 or so.
Wow. I wish I had a safe like that.
Right. Yeah. So
my safe has moths and dust.
What Georgia actually points out later is, remember the $1 million offer the family were going to make to Dan Markel to just skedaddle, get out of town. Georgia mentions later that, doesn't this kind of save you some money? You were going to spend $333,000 and you got off with $130,000.
Yeah, right.
So it was a bit
It's
of
like
a
a
discount
bargain
for Dr. Chuck.
I heard you say that, but my question is, did she say, like, the car's running, I'm going to take the money out there to him right now?
No, she never told me that they were waiting for me outside my house.
In fact, she stayed the night with you, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
And didn't exit your house with your $138,000 until the next day, right?
Correct.
You knew that the undercover agent was law enforcement, or at least strongly suspected, because that's not the way it's done. And my question to you is, since you're an expert on extortion, because you've been extorted before and that's how you knew that's not the way it's done, is this the way it's done? Do extortionists send a girlfriend of their victim to collect their extortion money? Is that the way it's done, doctor?
I was telling you what happened to me, and I was told that if I didn't pay in 48 hours, I would be killed. The person that came and extorted my mom, that was not the same approach as what happened to me.
Is that the only way? That's the only way it's done? They send the girlfriend?
It's the only time I've ever been extorted like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so Charlie's story is that
Okay,
Sigfredo,
but she stayed the night, dude.
she did.
He could have, while she fell asleep, taken his money back. He could have called the police.
Right.
He could have, give me a break. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, his story is that
Nobody in this family can lie well. They really should have thought this out better, you know?
he says Rivera Garcia and K-Mags, Katie Magbanua, got together and just thunk up on their own a plot. They would kill Dan first, mind you.
Mhm.
They'd just go kill him on their own. And then,
When he's not even married into the family anymore.
right.
You know?
And then they come to him. They're like, "You're welcome, but we need some money for this." Yeah. So I think those events happened, but in a different order, Charlie. I don't think that was the way it went down.
And at that point, the blackmailer, Catherine Magbanua, negotiates some type of layaway plan for you to complete the extortion with the Latin kings.
Okay, Katie wasn't the blackmailer, and Katie wasn't the one who was extorting me.
Didn't you just tell this jury that Katie was the blackmailer? You realized it in 2019.
I had thought that when you were just talking, you were talking about 2014.
Oh my gosh.
You were talking about that night,
Okay.
so that night happened in
Doctor.
2014.
Okay.
When she said, "I'm going to go check with my friend and if that's okay with him," she took her purse, took her keys, took her cell phone, she walked out of my front door, closed the door behind her, and I sat in my living room, and she came back about 5 minutes later.
You didn't want to talk to the guy yourself?
No, I didn't even think of that. I mean, but she went outside to call him.
So he takes her word for it that there's these guys that, want the money, and she's gonna give it to him. That sounds a little sus.
So the text messages aren't what they appear to be. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to the pool. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the gym.
This is right
None of
after
that
she
is
left
what it
with the
appears
money.
To be, it's something else.
I absolutely did not go to the gym. I was trying to show her that I was, pretending like nothing ever happened and looking past it.
And there's
But I
nothing
wasn't.
on the wire. All those hours of you talking. There is nothing on the wire about the extortion, this layer 1 of extortion, because she told you not to talk about it, right?
She told me to never talk about anything to anyone or her. She never wanted to hear about it again.
Mm-hmm.
But nowhere, even in the midst of this whole second extortion, it's happening again. It's an extension of the same thing. Do you mention anything about this layer 1 of the extortion? Do you?
Yes, actually I did.
Okay.
If you pull up the video from Matsuri when I was sitting with my dad and I said, and the funny thing is, that's what I whispered in his ear.
Right, but we can't hear that.
Right, because that's my point. I never wanted anybody to hear what had happened. I never wanted the police to come talk to me. But if you put up that video, you'll actually see me saying that into my dad's ear, and that's why I went in and said it. And that's what we were talking
You
about.
can claim you're saying anything to him.
Yeah, so
Meanwhile, you're like, I'll have a cheeseburger if you're going to make a run.
let's review this. So the only important point that would have exonerated Charlie, the only phrase that would get him off, he whispered into his dad's ear.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we can't hear that.
Oh, well, if we can't hear it, it didn't count. You know?
At the time. So
At
it's relevant.
Matsuri, the only time you mention the extortion, it's in a whisper that is not picked up by the microphones, right?
Intentionally, yes.
Yes. And that was intentional at the time, but it sucks for your defense, right? Because that would be a huge piece of evidence for you to show this jury, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think you'd come up with a reason why that I said it anyway.
And there's nobody to corroborate this testimony?
There is.
Okay.
Why aren't they here?
And the Matsuri, you talked about it again out in the parking lot, right? Wasn't that your testimony?
Yes, we spoke in the parking lot.
Okay, so you did talk about the extortion.
That's
Just didn't do it in a way that it was captured on any of the recordings in this case.
well, we spoke when we had privacy.
I mean, there's a reason to fear for her safety because these killers have come, they've just killed Dan, and now they're saying they're going to kill another one. It could be Wendy, right?
She has no idea what's going on.
Exactly. But you let her move from Tallahassee to Miami where you knew the killers were located. That's my point. Do you?
Yeah, so Charlie's being extorted by these monsters who he knows have killed or want to kill, and he's not telling his sister or anybody in his family. Like, he's not worried that whoever this is on a
We'll go after the other family members.
Right.
Right.
Plus, he's on a payment plan, and he's not paying as much as he originally agreed anyway. They're very understanding.
Very understanding. Yeah.
I agree with that.
The killers were able to find Dan Markell in Tallahassee. They have a car.
They were. But would you rather live in Tallahassee or in Miami if the killers are in Miami?
Yeah. He does say something like that at one point. Not intentional, but it was a different phrase. But yeah, he could use the Sarah Boone defense, Renee. That's as good a chance as any, right?
I think if these people want to find you, they'll find you. I don't think. Looking at Luis Rivera, I don't think a distance would stop him.
Okay. And the extortion money that you were paying, $3,000 a month, that wasn't going towards the principal of whatever was left on the $333,000, right? Didn't you testify to that?
Correct.
All right. So you never came up with the remaining bulk of the money.
Yeah, I know Capital One wouldn't go for that with me. You know.
Yeah, they wouldn't let that slide.
Yeah, no.
Nobody ever came after you for that?
No, they said you could pay it all off and it'll be done, or just pay $3,000 a month. So I thought about paying the full amount.
Weren't you scared that if you broke up with her that she would sick the Latin Kings on you?
No, because I had every intention of paying every month. When I broke up with her and I said, listen, I don't want to surround myself with this. I'm scared. She said that she was going to come every month and pick up the money and protect me. And she understood. Our relationship was on the rocks.
He's on the layaway plan, and he's got a protector in his ex-girlfriend
who he's dumping.
He's dumping, but they're still cool and they hang out.
Yeah,
and
it's all good.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you've testified that all the gifts and stuff that you gave her were to keep her happy, right?
That name sounds familiar, Oceana DX. I'm going to have to look up the Richard Merritt case after this. Sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, when I realized that she's the one who's protecting me and she wasn't a part of this extortion, I had no problem keeping her happy, and I looked for things to do, nice things to do for her because she was broke.
But not worried about pissing her off by breaking up with her.
Well, our relationship was definitely on the rocks. After July 1st, when Sigfredo cut me off and threatened me and called my dad, and then she knew I didn't even invite her to my dad's birthday party, which was a family gathering with family friends on July 5th. She knew we were going to be done.
Why is she telling you to erase her number and leave her alone?
Because I broke up with her.
Exactly. On 9/14 or 9/11 of 14, she sends you #bestie for life. Do you remember that?
Sounds familiar.
So did you all have some kind of reconciliation after the breakup?
No, I was probably doing a favor and making her happy with something.
On 10/6 of 2014,
besties for life.
I love you. It makes me feel good that you care about me. I'm lucky to have you as part of my life. Do you remember sending that to her?
Yeah.
She's the person that's taking the money from you physically.
She's the one. I looked at it as she's the one who's protecting me. If she wasn't, I was going to get a visit from somebody.
Is she the one that was physically taking the money?
Yes.
Is she the one that was connected to the person you suspected to have killed your brother-in-law?
I thought she was tied to that person, yes.
And he was whispering sweet nothings all the time.
And she's the one that got you into this, right? Because she ran her mouth, right?
And I looked at that I ran my mouth too. And if I never said anything to her, this would never have happened. So I felt responsible for saying something to her in the first place.
But you didn't feel responsible enough to try to do anything about her sitting in jail, an innocent woman, for 3 years. Did you?
She never contacted me.
You didn't offer to testify in her trial. You let her get convicted and get life in prison, didn't you?
I thought the truth was going to come out.
He just thought the truth would come out. So his innocent girlfriend goes to jail for this crime that he knows nothing about. And he doesn't.
The truth will come out by someone else, not by me.
He doesn't bring her flowers anymore.
Yeah.
But not through you.
I was never contacted.
Was she pretty worried about Wendy's marital problems?
No.
She wasn't.
I think she'd get upset when my sister would tell her things that Danny was doing and going to work, bad-mouthing her, but...
And they're talking about Donna here, the mother.
I figured with the
kingpin.
little tag you gave. Thank you.
But also she would meticulously go through all the filings and send long emails detailing her thoughts about every filing in this divorce.
No, I don't think that's the case at all.
Okay. Did she hate Dan Markel?
I think she liked him in the beginning, for sure. And I think when he was being a jerk to my sister, I think
I know that story.
I don't think anyone particularly liked him when he was being a jerk.
Were you laughing when Wendy was on the stand and I read all the names that Donna referred to Dan Markel as?
No, I laughed when you said the word fucker in court.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's like 11.
What did she mean when she said Dan Markel was trying to take her sunshines away? Do you know?
My mom never said that.
Oh, so you never heard her say
that was made up, and he put it in a court filing, and then now it becomes something that my mom said because someone made it up and put it in a court filing. My mom never said that.
Did your mom refer to the children as her sunshines?
No, the kids were 3 and 4. A 3 and 4-year-old can't repeat a conversation.
Are you kidding?
I wouldn't say anything in front of my 4-year-old that I didn't want the world to know.
Madeline won't shut up the minute she can speak.
They're like parrots.
All they do is repeat.
Yep.
Why did Wendy testify that she was getting along well with Dan Markel just prior to his death? Can we agree that's not true?
I think there were ups and downs in how they got along. I mean, you got to ask her. She was on the stand. I mean, I wasn't living her life.
Is it part of your defense to minimize
weren't you?
how nasty and contentious this divorce was?
No, my defense is to tell the truth.
Isn't it true that you don't feel that Wendy appreciates everything you and Donna do for her?
My sister had no idea what I've been through in the last, God knows how many years. I wake up.
Oh, that violin's too big.
Yeah, I searched for a tinier violin to put in the picture, but alas, I couldn't find one.
Am I going to get killed? Am I going to get arrested? And she knows none of it. She's just going around her life, and I had somewhat of an innate anger towards her. You know, probably unjust because she didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was upset.
And weren't you saying on the wire that she doesn't appreciate what you and Donna have done for her?
I don't know if I said that she doesn't appreciate what I've done for her because I never did anything for her.
Okay, so that was my next question. What have you done for her? Nothing?
Other than give her advice and care about her, be a big brother that loves her.
Would you say Wendy's a little bit spoiled?
In some regards, I mean, she gets a lot of help for sure.
Yeah, Renee, the family doesn't sneeze without discussing it.
Is that the way it's done, Doctor?
Oops.
I laughed when you said the word fucker in court.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What are you pushing?
I don't know if I've seen her interview.
Why did you brag to Jeffrey Lacoste about your connection to the Cuban criminal element?
Never said that to Jeff Lacoste.
So he's making that up?
If he said it,
all these people just lie.
Yep.
It's like no one's honest, only Jackie.
And Jeffrey Lacoste, remember, was Wendy's ex-boyfriend, and he alleges that she told him basically about Charlie's plan to hire a hitman because it was so funny. You know,
it's hilarious.
Just a
joke, right?
You were in here when he said it, weren't you?
I heard him say it, yeah, but I never said that to him.
Can we agree that Wendy was stressed out about the issues surrounding her divorce?
I think the divorce caused stress in her life, yes.
And you were hearing about it from your mother, weren't you?
Yeah, I would hear.
Wendy's totally stressed out. Yesterday was a rough one. That sort of.
If Donna is anything like my mom, and my mom is not an evil psychopath that I know of,
no.
But if you tell her anything, the rest of the family is going to know.
Oh, yeah.
Within a few hours, you know.
My mom, too.
The phone tree starts,
right.
and then they dial and tell. So, yeah, I don't believe that Donna
kept it a secret from him.
as hyper vigilant as she is.
Sort of thing.
Yes, like I said it before, is that my sister would tell my mom a story. I'd be sitting in the car driving. My mom would be talking to me and telling me the latest story of the day. And that's how I found out a lot.
And then on 2/19 of 14, Donna texts you again to tread lightly with Wendy and refers to Dan Markel as an asshole and a fucker, right?
Sorry. You made me laugh. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Is that what happened?
Right.
That text?
She said poopy.
Did my mom use a foul word to describe him?
Yes, sir. Asshole and fucker, to be specific.
Oh my gosh.
And he's going
to hear that word a lot, dude. I mean,
yeah, he's going to hear a lot more worse words in prison.
Is he going to giggle every
Right,
time?
I wonder if he'll be giggling. We'll find out. We'll report back.
She used a curse word correct.
Is that pretty strong language for your mom, or is that how she speaks?
I mean, it is pretty strong language, but I think I've been called a lot worse.
Yes, it's how she speaks. Just say it.
Did your mom ever drop the F-bomb?
No. My mom has sworn, and then she says, "Pardon my French," but it's usually just
the
like
S-word
shit.
at the very,
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We've heard a lot about her being put on the payroll at the Adelson Institute, and she made this demand to you when you met her to give her the first extortion payment on the payment plan. Is that correct?
She didn't make a demand. When I gave her the $3,000 for her friend, she asked me if I could do her a favor and put her on payroll for $1,000 a month so that she could get insurance for her kids. She was going to cash the check, and the money was still going to her friend, so that money wasn't going to her.
So he's admitting to a crime right here.
That's illegal.
Giving her a no-show job.
That's illegal.
She was getting insurance for her
And
kids
did you
as a favor.
believe her that she would give the money from the paychecks to the friend?
I believe what she was saying to me, yeah.
Isn't it true that Catherine Magbanowa actually asked you to place her on the payroll back in June, prior to this extortion effort?
I don't know if I put her on payroll. She asked me if I could put her as something when I was dating, or put her as something on the office so she could get insurance. But I never did.
And that was in June.
Yeah, I remember she'd asked me about it before, but I never did anything.
And did she ask if you could do that in between the two trips that the killers made?
I didn't know when they went up, but I found out later that they went up in
Right.
All right, so
He's finding out things on the fly, just like Wendy.
I know, Wendy. I just found out today.
that email would have been sent, or I'm sorry, it's a text. That text would have been sent prior to what you're calling.
Okay, I have to say something. Why are they communicating so much via text? What are they, stupid?
Right.
Why is there so much text?
Well, because, honey, they're talking in code.
Ugh.
So nobody knows.
Oh, right. Nobody.
What they're saying.
This is insane.
Layer of the extortion.
That text was sent to me while I was dating her, but I never.
Prior to the first layer of extortion.
The text was sent in June.
Prior to the first layer of extortion.
Before I was extorted, yeah. Before I broke up with her.
And you say several times on the wire that she was cleaning at the office. Was she really cleaning?
No, she never worked for us.
She was doing some type of cleanup for you, wasn't she?
No.
Did you pay for a trip, or offer to pay for a trip to Santo Domingo for Catherine Magbanowa and Sigfredo Garcia to visit his parents?
Nice.
I didn't know who she was going with, but I paid for. You're talking about airline tickets?
Yes.
She called me up. She had an emergency. Something happened. She booked tickets for the wrong date. I had no idea who in the family she was going with, and she had no money. And I remember I was in Chicago,
If she had no money, how did she buy the tickets for the wrong date to begin with?
Man, I wish we
Little
could
Miss
have.
Brokers.
I wish we could have been friends with Charlie Adelson before all this shit happens.
I know.
It sounds like all you have to do is ask him for money and make up a sob
I'm
story.
super broke. Can you send me to the Cayman Islands? You know, like,
Friend's
come
wedding,
on.
and I took out my credit card and I gave her the credit card number and let her book tickets. I thought she was going with her kids.
So is that a yes? You paid for
Oh, yeah,
the
no,
trip to
I
San
remember that well.
Francisco. So
For
go
sure.
quicker if we could just
I'm sorry.
answer the question.
What's the objection?
Argumentative.
Overruled.
Offer to buy Catherine Magbanua and her mom a cruise.
Yes, Katie had mentioned to me that she always wanted to be able to take her mom on a cruise. So I offered, but she never took me up on it.
Did you call in prescriptions for Catherine Magbanua?
She was a patient of record at my office.
Did you pay for a meal service for Catherine Magbanua?
Yeah, I did.
Did you pay for car repairs for her?
Yeah, all this stuff was making me think she was broke. So yes, you're right.
Did you offer that she could use your Range Rover anytime?
I said she could borrow the car, sure.
Did she talk about getting a boat and you offered to help her get a boat?
I never offered to help her get a boat. I offered to help her look for a boat.
Did you receive a text from Catherine Magbanua that reads, "Next time, don't be such a dick to someone who has done something for you"?
Yeah, she's protecting me, and she's mad. She's mad at me over something.
Are these gifts what it took to secure her silence for so long?
No, absolutely not. I was never trying to get her silence. I was hoping she'd tell the truth.
Yeah, I can see extortionists just dragging it out and asking for more and more and more, but I can't see them offering a payment plan.
Yeah, right.
Catherine Magbanua said that you think you're untouchable. Is that
Especially
true?
at $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Really?
That's not true at all.
Did your parents drop off money to you on the night of the murder?
I never saw my parents there. You could look at our cell phones and you'll find that out, that we never saw each other.
I did look at the cell phones, and what is on there is your mom texts you, quote, outside your house. And
No, I mean, look at the tower information.
I think you testified that that meant she was just passing by on the roadway.
She was approaching the area, yeah, to see if I was home.
All right, and do you know what your response was to her text?
Yeah, like 20 or 30 minutes later, I said 10 minutes.
I'm 10 minutes out, is what you
I
said.
think I said 10 minutes, but yeah, I'm not home.
Doesn't that indicate you're going to meet them at your house in 10 minutes?
No, I told her to let me know when you're going to be in the area.
He's losing the plot now. He's stammering and doesn't look comfortable.
And he keeps looking off to the side. You notice
yeah.
that? Yeah.
We want to welcome all the people that just came into the room. We're watching Georgia Cappleman versus Charlie Adelson, who was convicted of first-degree murder just the other day. So hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying yourself. Please subscribe if you haven't and you've been lurking in the background. And we really appreciate it. That would help us out.
Why did whoever did it need to kill someone to extort you?
You gotta ask them.
Why couldn't they just come put a gun to your head and say, give me all the money in your safe?
Yeah, instead of going and killing Dan Markel, just hoping that would,
or at least
Thank God.
kidnap him.
you
know.
Thank God they didn't.
Thank God they didn't. I would have gotten killed.
Oh, and this is better.
If Garcia hated you, why would he drive to Tallahassee twice to kill someone you hated?
It sounds like he was part of the extortion, or Katie put him up to it.
Doesn't blackmail or extortion usually involve the extortionist having some kind of dirt on the victim?
I know how this was done to me. I know I'm just telling you what happened to me. I'm not an expert.
You're so full
If they
of
had come in
shit.
and threatened to kill you, would you have given them the money in your safe?
If someone came and put a gun to my head, and I would have opened up my safe and I would have given them the money.
That sounds a lot easier than
But
all
somebody
that
came
rigmarole.
without a gun to your head and you opened it up and gave them the money.
Yeah, true.
So,
I still don't get how killing Dan Markel advances the ball for them to extort money out of you. Do you?
Right.
Yeah, I have a theory. They could extort me for life, and I don't think they knew exactly how much I had in the safe. She knew I had a lot of money in the safe. But this way I could get extorted for life, and that's what happened. And I was stuck paying $3,000 a month.
But you could have gotten extorted for life just by the threat of death by Latin King, couldn't you, Doctor?
I mean, this was as real of a threat as you get. I mean, these guys aren't messing around.
Yeah, I mean, Luis Rivera, the head of one of the most dangerous gangs in the country, and they could have just come in and said, give us the money or we're going to do this or that. But nope, they had the other plan, the hitman plan.
Mom tells you on that first wire call that the bump involves the two of us, referring to yourself and your mom, right?
Yes, that's what she said.
And would you agree, prior to your explanation, that that looks pretty incriminating?
I think if you don't know what happened, you can assume the worst.
Isn't it true that you had to add the bit about confiding your extortion in your mom in order to put that toothpaste back in the tube?
No, that's what happened.
Nice little dental reference. That was cute.
I got the checks.
Otherwise, why would you bring your mom into this?
I didn't want to. When I first told her on the phone and asked her to write the checks, I told her, I said, just it's a long story, I'd brush it off, and she didn't press anything, but I think she was out somewhere. It wasn't until when I picked up the checks that she started pressuring me and saying, this makes no sense, why are you doing this, you're not dating Katie. And that's when she found out.
But your mom is the most high-strung out of the whole group, right? And
Tracy Hernandez is here. Welcome.
Hey, Tracy, it's nice to see you pop in.
Yeah.
she's old and she worries, right?
I don't think she's super high-strung, but she does worry about her
You
kids.
don't?
No. It doesn't matter.
Well, you said she was, quote, notorious for making a big deal out of everything.
I mean, she overreacts, but she's a mom. I think a lot of moms overreact.
I was approached by another extortionist today. Does she say that?
No, she's talking very carefully.
You say carefully, but isn't carefully the same thing as code?
Yes.
No, they're two totally separate things.
Carefully
Really?
is code for code, definitely.
Yeah, it's code for code.
You know the difference?
You weren't really giving her money for a TV, were you?
Giving her money for a TV.
This TV is probably going to be about $5. I
Okay.
need you to bring cash tonight.
I wish she picked another object on planet Earth other than TV. But TV is code for absolutely nothing. There is no code in this case involving TV. And you keep circling and circling and circling TV, you're wrong.
Is it a coincidence that the repair of the TV that you bought Wendy as a divorce gift because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman is your sister's alibi for the murder, and then your mom brings up TV first call on the wire?
It's not an alibi for a murder. She had a broken TV. You got to ask Lincoln who threw the remote at the TV.
Was it a coincidence?
He's blaming the kid for
Oh
throwing
my
the remote
gosh,
at the
let's
TV.
throw
What
the
an a-hole.
4-year-old in jail.
You know, unlikely events happen all the time because we have so many people on the earth. You know, it's bound to, a 1 in a million thing is bound to happen to somebody. Somebody wins the lottery. But Charlie has had over and over these unlikely events.
Did she say it was $5,000 to fix the TV?
Yeah, the TV is going to be about
$5,000.
Right. And
I think the most we spent on a TV is $1,000.
yeah,
Just buy a new TV.
right.
Is this what rich people do? I don't know.
This is how the other half lives, Tiffy.
I didn't know.
Take
It's
notes.
amazing.
Take
Okay,
notes, please.
I'll keep
TV
notes.
thing a coincidence? That's what I hear you say.
Oh, that the repairman was there that day?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is a coincidence for sure.
And wouldn't it be good for you if the police investigation into the Prius led to the arrest of the killers/extortionists?
If they arrested the people that killed Dan,
Yeah.
I know the extortion would stop. As long as I kept my mouth shut, I'd be safe.
Right. So why are you trying to argue to her that, like, the car is not going to lead anywhere? They're not going to be able to do anything with the car.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I know that Sinclair wasn't the one who killed him.
Georgia's about to bust out the exact quote here.
Dude, I love
Did
it.
you say on this recording, if they're a bad guy, there's two ways of dealing with it. Go ahead and contact the police. They'll contact him, the blackmailer, and arrange a setup. Take him down, and he'll proffer 10 years, and now tell us everything you know, or else you're going to serve 10 years in prison. Next thing you know, this person is singing. He's calling out your name, My parents are going to have to tell the story of what happened. Singing about what? About the extortion?
I knew you'd like that one.
Oh my gosh. I love her inflections.
Yep.
No, I think you're reading it wrong. I know the Audible is bad.
What would
Are those the words?
Yes, sir. What would
Is Charlie even saying words right now? That was like a mumble.
the extortionist, and now I'm referring to the one that contacted your mother.
The Latin King extortion.
Well, they're both Latin kings, right?
The second extortion.
You and us both, Tracy.
What would they have to sing about?
Right.
The second extortion would be singing and talking about the first extortion, where they learned their information from.
Who cares? That doesn't have anything to do with you.
Well, when they catch the first extortion, Katie's tied to them and I'm tied to Katie. They're going to come talk to us, and we're going to be in danger when we tell them what happened.
All right, so give us a summary.
La.
Tiffy Lou, give us a summary of what he just said.
I got confused. Did you see my face?
I
Eyebrow went up.
have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm kind of trailed off at the end.
Yeah, he doesn't know
So
either.
I was saying if they catch the second, they're going to turn in on the first, and that's the same thing I said yesterday.
Yeah, and guess what? When the effing police show up and there's a doctor, there's an oral surgeon standing there with a dead gang member in his effing driveway, they're not going to come down too hard on me.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew you'd be believed if you went to the police, right?
Pineapple.
Oh, you're trying not to sneeze.
Yeah.
I see.
I didn't know I'd be believed, but I feared for my life.
And then you say, so help me God, if they fuck with my family, it's going to be fucking Nazi shit. Because this will be done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Katie, I don't care what I spend, okay? I swear to God. What is Nazi shit?
Did he giggle when he said the F word that time?
Oh, I wonder if he giggles at Nazi.
That's an expression that Katie would use to describe someone that's going crazy. I think the Nazis were absolutely crazy people. So I'm saying I'm going to get somebody to go crazy on the guy that's trying to extort my mom for money. I'll pay someone to go threaten him and to scare him. I was not talking about killing anybody.
Well, you say the word kill. Yes?
No. Oh, when you're putting the words in my mouth, well, we can do that sentence.
Do you say the word kill?
He's
getting testy now.
Yeah, you're getting a little upset there, Chuckles.
He never quite boils over, but his lid is definitely, hopping on top of the pot.
Yeah. He's like ready to
I'm
crap.
talking about if Sigfredo's coming after you, he's such a dangerous guy, you'd have to kill him to stop him. That's the only thing you could do. Not talking about killing the extorter. I'm talking second extortion.
Okay.
I'm saying that if Sigfredo's coming after you, the only thing that you could do is you'd have to kill him to stop him. I'm not talking about killing anybody. I'm talking about that's the only way that you could stop Sigfredo from coming after you is you would have to kill him.
If you come to kill the Latin king, you best not miss.
And that's exactly what I said there. You're wrong. That's exactly what I said.
Oh, she's wrong.
And then you say, listen, you giving somebody money is not an admission of any kind of guilt. Would paying the money have made her look guilty?
That's what she was saying to me. She said it's the police. And you can't pay the police. They're going to think you were part of a murder and they're going to arrest you.
But if it was an extortionist, it could have created a monster, right?
And if you don't pay the extortionist, you could get killed.
So when
Or you
these
could keep getting
guys...
extorted.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said if you don't pay the extortionist, you could get killed, or you could keep getting extorted.
But your main concern was that if we pay, this guy will think I'm an ATM machine, right? He'll keep coming back again and again and again. Don't you articulate that to Catherine Magbanua?
If it was an extorter, that was one of the concerns. The other concern was not paying him and getting killed.
Why are you explaining extortion and how extortion works to Catherine?
We're all going to get a lesson on extortion.
Good. I need to be enlightened.
Right. And her question is, why are you explaining extortion to Catherine Magbanua, affectionately known as K-Mags?
Magbanua.
In there?
Yeah.
Because I know.
But she knows too, doesn't she?
So I repeat myself. I do that.
You also explain it to your mother how extortion works, and she's has known about it for 2 years too, right?
From what I told her, yeah.
Do you think you can talk your way out of this?
No, I don't. I'm not part of a murder.
Who are they going to believe, right? An oral surgeon or a gangster?
Right.
That's extorting me in my driveway and coming in.
An oral surgeon that's a wannabe gangster versus the real gangster.
It's just weird the person he chose to be his girlfriend and her connection.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, convenient.
Threatening
Yeah.
me?
You're untouchable, right?
No, I'm not part of this murder.
Elliot
There was
Mess.
a lot of talk about going to the police on the wire, which I think we've well established did not happen. But you've always gone to the police before, right?
I've had other things that I've gone to the police for, yeah.
Do your nephews deserve to know the whole truth about who killed their father?
Yeah, now they do.
Do Danny's parents deserve to know what happened to their son?
Absolutely.
And you say you knew. I mean, you now say you knew a big piece of what happened, right?
Yes.
Do you feel bad about not volunteering that to Danny's parents?
I feel a sense of relief that now I was able to tell everybody what finally happened.
Yesterday. Almost 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
And that's because you didn't just know a big piece of it. You were a big piece of it, weren't you, Doctor?
I was extorted and I knew a lot, yeah.
Yep. It was all
Oh,
an extortion
my gosh.
to make him a victim.
Why did he agree to take the stand? Couldn't he have not?
Oh,
been
sure. Well, yeah,
questioned?
he doesn't have to testify.
I just don't understand. That doesn't seem smart.
Right. I wonder if the lawyer thought it was smart or he advised him not to testify. But I mean, with his theory, quote unquote, of what happened
Mm-hmm.
being so weak, this might have been the only chance he had, is to talk himself out of it. You know, so maybe they just rolled the dice.
It's like I'm already drowning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's really stupid, and he doesn't clearly know how to answer any of these questions. He's pulling the same crap his sister did. I'm sorry, repeat the question. Give me a break.
Right. I don't
Like, really,
understand.
you're stalling. You're trying to figure out what you're going to say next.
Renee says money talks, BS walks, and we watched it. Yeah, for sure. A lot of poop being flung around that courtroom that day.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's Tiffy time, and go.
That's cruel.
No, we just want to thank everybody for showing up today. We've had a good response to these Adelson videos.
People are obsessed with Adelson, and I don't blame you. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how they move forward with the rest of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that Donna's going to be next, and a lot of people that Wendy's going to be next.
I think they want Wendy to be next.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, though.
Go Tiffy. Go Tiffy. It's your birthday. Yeah. So, right. If I had my druthers, do people even say that anymore?
Only you.
Yeah. If I had my way, Wendy would be next. But
no, but she won't testify on her own behalf, and I kind of enjoy watching her.
Yeah.
Sit there and testify. Who is it? I was reading comments on some of our on our last video, and somebody was saying that she shouldn't have worn a low-cut dress because whenever she lies, her chest turns red.
Mm-hmm.
And makeup covers it up on the face, but of course not on the chest. And it's so funny. I know a lot of people, when they lie or get nervous, their chest turns red. They get a little flushed.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have the technology now that you can point a camera at someone and it can detect a heartbeat just by the movement, the slight movement in your yeah.
Wow, I'm scared of our future. I'm really terrified.
I am
of
too.
it.
I am too. I'm excited and scared, but yeah. So definitely, probably you could have taken her vital signs completely just by watching her on that. But yeah, so let's see. Can't wait until Wendy goes to court and then to prison with her mother. It would be sweet, wouldn't it, Joe Bailey?
That would be nice
To have the whole family
they
one
share
by
a
one.
cell, or,
Yeah. So, you know, if the alleged mastermind, the mother and the father, live long enough, maybe they'll face justice as well. But for now, in the alleged Adelson crime family, Dr. Chuck has been convicted.
Yep.
Finally.
Yep.
Justice for Dan after all these years.
I'm
In progress.
So glad so many people joined us today, and we look forward to seeing you all again on Tuesday.
Absolutely. And if you'd like, check us out at tiffylou.com. We've got some cool designs there. If you want to flaunt your AC swag, you can finally do it. I know that's been your dream all along. Also,
oh, didn't you have an idea? No, actually, it was my idea.
Oh, no.
We were watching Bob's Burgers, okay? And they did one episode where all of their fans submitted their own drawings of Bob's Burgers, and then like every scene was represented by a different drawing of the family.
Yeah.
And I said to Andrew, wouldn't it be cool or interesting if maybe some of our artistic fans did a drawing of me, and we would use that.
Oh, a drawing of Tiffie
in an upcoming video.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway,
yeah, that's something to bounce around.
Throwing it out there. I don't know how many of you draw. Gosh,
yeah, we
even
might
if you
need to
don't
be
draw,
a bigger channel before we do something like that.
Nah, people draw.
All right, let us know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. Also, for $2.99 a month, you can get some exclusive audio, some early. You get to see the episodes 2 days early, and we're going to plan a members-only live stream shortly. So, if you'd like to do that, go to the community tab on our channel page, and all the details are there. And we will see you on Tuesday
at 7 p.m. Pacific.
All right,
because we do change times.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We love you all. Bye-bye.